Guys, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com. Been running around this morning, checking on my preparations going back 10 years for when the shit hits the fan, because the shit is hitting the fan. Truthfully, it doesn't matter anymore whether it is a real pandemic virus problem, which I think it is. Cliff High put out a great video today, I believe it was, or yesterday, on biowarfare and how this will last 3 to 5 years. Check out his video because he makes sense. What doesn't make sense is what mainstream media says, what your friends and family say. You need to take action as soon as possible because you don't want to be waiting in line with them at the grocery store. We've all seen the scenarios of what happens when people rush to the grocery store at the same time. If you live in Florida, you know what happens. Everything disappears from the shelves in hours. If they start locking down cities in the U.S., which I believe they will at some point, maybe this summer, yes, you will be in line at the store unless you go now. No lines right now to get everything that you need for to hunker down for a little while. It's hard to think about because we've never been through it, but it was hard to think about for the Chinese because they've never been through it. Now they're going through it. I think there's 10 provinces in Italy that are going. Everybody's going to go through it. So it's time to wise up. Take your shit into your own possession as far as investment stuff. As this goes down, you're going to be a hell of a lot happier to have it probably guns and bullets than cryptos or silver or gold, truthfully. Because who knows how this is going to all shake out. I would assume it's going to be martial law, kind of like what's going on in China. You're not allowed to go anywhere. You're not allowed to do anything. Certain times, certain sectors can go somewhere and get food for their family for the next couple of days and then go back in, and you're all masked up and duct tape everywhere and you're wandering around like a zombie. I don't know if that's going to happen, and neither do you, but what we do know is the supply chain has stopped. So what we do know is the leveraged banks will go down, will be gone. And is this part of the plan? Could be. I didn't think it was going to go down like this. I thought the banks would fail and all of a sudden everybody would notice, oh, it's the banks. It's the perfect diversion from looking at the real criminals, the banking system, the criminal banks within it. It's a perfect diversion. They could say, hey, it wasn't us, it was the coronavirus. Get out of jail free card for the banks. But it doesn't solve the problem. And banks can't bail this one out. I want everybody to let that sink in. No Federal Reserve no amount of money can be thrown out the door to fix this problem because the amount of money won't buy a virus, an antivirus. It won't buy a cure to this problem. It won't put items on the shelves because everybody's on lockdown. It won't fix the globalization problem that we have to source 180 different nations source the components and raw materials for an iPhone. That game is over and has been over. So right now people are burning through inventory. Shipping is pretty much stopped out of China. You're going to see global stopping of travel as this progresses. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse and worse. Anyway, I think the stock market's finally figuring that out. It was up a little bit. Steve Mnuchin was clicking as hard as he can. He's got blisters on both fingers clicking his mouse, but lo and behold, it's down 45 right now. Who knows how it'll end? The reality is it's hyper levered still. And the derivative bubble going off, this will go to zero. And the biggest problem is there's multiple owners for every share of stock out there on the Dow Industrial. Apple Computer, many multiple owners. If you have a share of Apple, somebody out there, probably 2 or 3 people own that exact same share that you do and have legal title to it at the DTCC. That's where the problem is, the DTCC. These bubbles should have never grown so big. High-frequency traders should have been shut down back in the 80s. But no, they wanted to grow the bubble so big such that when it pops, nothing survives. That's exactly what's happening. David Stockman, great article, warns the jig is up. COVID-19 and the defenestration of the central bankers, let it be said that historians will surely marvel at some point soon about the grand delusion of the present era, namely the near universal belief that central bankers could print, peg, and pavier the Main Street economy into unfailing expansion and ever rising prosperity, and that there were essentially no macro risks to soaring stock prices that their toolkits could contain and counteract. The misbegotten belief had huge untoward consequences. Then came the black bat of 2020, or whatever, basically coronavirus, with its toxic economic contagion. Racing with virtually lightning speed through an infinitely complex and deeply integrated global supply chain, anchored in the red Ponzi, the breakdown of the economic activity is already proving that the central banks are not omnipotent at all. Just as they cannot print antibodies to stop the coronavirus disease, they can't print raw materials, intermediaries, components, and subassembly to restart the broken supply chain. Super QE won't do it. Double-digit sub-zero rates wouldn't help. Open mouth forward guidance towards only call to mind King Canute shouting at the incoming sea. He's got some great words. But even assuming the latter, the predicate of central bank omnipotence should be swept into the dustbin of history. That's because in a world of peak debt, $225 trillion globally, and $74 trillion in the U.S. alone, the Fed policy tools are not only impotent, they are actually malignant. Here's the deal. Do you remember Nostradamus? Remember Nostradamus' famous quote, imitations of gold and silver will be thrown into the lake. Gold and silver was money back then. How many imitations of money are there right now? There's imitations of gold and silver, obviously. There's crypto derivatives, COMEX, LBMA, SLV derivatives. I mean, if you have money in SLV, you don't own anything. You own zero. I don't know why you would do that. Take it out and go buy yourself some of the real thing. Because imitations are going to get thrown into the lake, meaning this whole criminal system is going to get thrown away. Now, how many imitations of money are there today? Stocks, bonds, titles, you name it, everything's an imitation of money. Derivatives, paper money, electronic money, and derivatives on derivatives, swaptions. So you're swapping an option at a future date in gold and silver. That's all imitations of money. Those are all useless, worthless, and will get thrown into the lake as the system. As a consequence, capital has been artificially drafted into financial speculation and money dealing, but virtually none of that vaulted stimulus makes its way to the street. Indeed, we don't need a magnifying glass to grasp the story of this case. There's nary a single bar below the sacred 2% line in the entire 23-month-long chart below the CPI. CPI is a lie. CPI is a lie. So if they print money like it's going out of style, every price is going to go through the roof. They're going to say it's illegal to raise your prices. It's price gouging. Although they keep printing money and there's no goods coming in. Stock up on what you need to survive for at least 6 months. The problem with that scenario is society won't last 6 months. You might last stuck in your bunker somewhere, but is that a life you want to lead? I don't know. Go down fighting, I guess? Maybe. I don't know. It's going to get ugly. But I have hope and faith that the good guys can do something because they've had 100 years to plan for this. And we know there's all kinds of secret money that's been stashed away and there's tunnels all around the United States with hordes of food ready to be unleashed to the population when this moment comes. And the moment it looks like it's coming. It's a matter of weeks, maybe months, but not years. The supply chain has already stopped. That means very soon there'll be little goods on the shelves. So prepare. Even JP Morgan's getting out of the oil business. What a criminal bank. They belong in jail. They will be in jail. All the senior management, all the directors of JP Morgan, obviously the board of directors, and anybody senior VP title and above should go to jail on RICO charges. Let's see what happens. Here, Deutsche Bank, UBS, and Goldman curb Italy travel amid virus scare. So nobody's going to Italy. Italy's obviously not going to pay their bills to Deutsche Bank, Goldman, and UBS, so it doesn't matter if they go or not. Those banks are all done. All banks are done. Everything is. Weeks, maybe months, not years. That's your shiny, rosy update. I'm going to show you guys something that I found when the Economist magazine just came out. If you're interested in doing the Economist magazine search, it's right up there at the top, the word jumble. There's a lot of good stuff in there, but I'm going to show you the best thing. And it's right in this area right here, near the bottom. Are you ready? This relates directly to the road to Ruta. Can you see it? It says Satoshi Exposed on the cover of the 2020, The World in 2020 Economist magazine. Satoshi Exposed, right here. SATOSHIXPOSD. Now you can draw a line from the EXPOSED. Satoshi Exposed. Isn't that cool? In 2020, Satoshi Nakamoto is going to be exposed according to The Economist magazine. Now, if you're a member on the road to Ruta and you've looked at the Satoshi remote viewing full analysis by Ruta, you're going to know who it is anyway. That's on the private road. Ha 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 ha. I'm an evil genius today. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, watch for Satoshi being exposed this year. Talk to you later.